What's up guys, Brad here, and today we're going to be looking at the pre-constructed decks from Murder at Castle Nathria, or also the returning players decks. These are what you get for free, the cards that you get them, so we're going to check them out, let you know what the value is for these decks, starting with Demon Hunter, and I'll also let you know if there's any changes I feel like you can make to them to make them better, or if I think they're just solid in general. So starting with the Relic Vault, we have, no surprise, only 9 new cards, because it's going to be just the Relic cards. It's what I expected. Relic of Extinction, Phantasms, the Vault, Dimensions, and Artificer Zymox to fill those new cards out. So if you're looking for something maybe a little newer, it's probably might not be it. Only 9 cards isn't a ton. And then we've got Jace Darkweaver, Xylig, and the Hero for like kind of like a heavier late game here. But it seems like overall, just kind of looking at it, it's relatively aggressive early game. And then you have ways to replenish your hand and go off with Relic of Dimensions, obviously getting us 4 card draw if we have the Relic Vault down. And then just we got our big swing and stuff with our Hero. We've got the Colossus, obviously. Zymox can give us some big boys if we get the infuse effect off especially, and Jace can do all of our fell stuff, which is boosting up mainly our attack. So I honestly feel like it's pretty solid. Let's actually do this here. So we build decks so we can look at the cards in the collection itself. We can't look in the Murder Cast and Nathria cards, so I'll have Hearthstone open on the side on my other screen. But in case I need to reference one of those cards. But the main card I'm looking at is Fossil Fanatic here. I feel like this deck has a pretty good amount of draw already with the Sigil. We've got Chaos Strike. We've also got the Relic as well. And then obviously Artificer Zymox and Jace will do kind of the same thing and whatnot. So I'm kind of looking at it in a few ways. We've got, we could look at just the other Fel spells themselves, and we can try to fit in something. So I-Beam is an option, obviously, for a little bit of heal if you wanted to. Predation would have been nice if we played more Nagas, but that would probably end up changing the deck a little bit too much because we really only have, let's see, what do we have, 3? Yeah, we've only got 3 Nagas right now, so I would probably say that's not the way to go. But you could also just add in, so because the Nagas do synergize well with this deck, you could do Wayward Sage instead, so then you've got even cheaper spells to then trigger more of Lady Stheno. Also, I can never say her name, I really can't, so I'm just constantly gonna mess it up. Amalgam of the Deep could be an option just to give us more options for the Nagas, but really it's probably not good because there's really no options to hit other than Xylag and the three Nagas. So I would even possibly look into School Teacher, but that's kind of a little bit of a later curve compared to what we've been looking at. You could go for something cute, but this would be a late game card, doing a Zola, so you can get back your Jace or Artificer Zymox as well. I would I'm definitely sold more on the Fel spells here. I think the Fel spells are probably where we want to go with the deck. And I'm thinking myself, I like I-Beam as the card to be replaced with it. That's just myself. Just gives us a little bit more of an option. But yeah, I would say realistically, the deck's perfectly fine the way it is. You probably don't really need to make any changes, but that's just something I kind of noticed myself. Let's jump into the next one, which is going to be Druid. Horrors Beyond the Hedge. So we have a Death Rattle Death Rattle Druid. And looking at it, it's cute because it's got the Vandar Stormpike. That's obviously something that I like because I like the card itself. Drekthar was obviously a lot better of a card, but this is the dude I picked. We've got this typical early game stuff, so you're not really playing anything until turn 4. with your Vandar Stormpike, trying to just Wild Growth, Hedge Maze, or possibly Planted Evidence, innervate into your Wild Heart Guff or Nourish, and then you start hitting some things. So you got Death Blossom Womper, the Scales of Onyxia, Topiary Shrubagazer, Miracle Growth, Cecily. Convoke the Spirits is kind of interesting. I'm actually kind of surprised about that card. Neptulon, the Tide Hunter, Raid Boss Onyxia, Surge Nathria, and Stoneborn General. So, just based on what I'm seeing right here, there's, I think, only 3 options for Death Rattles. So, you're going to play your Hedge Maze, and then you're going to hit, well, obviously, there's 5 options with Death Blossom. Only 3 options for Death Blossom to hit, but 5 Death Rattles to hit with the Hedge Maze, which is fine for the Hedge Maze, I would say. But I'm thinking to myself, why are we running Convoke the Spirits in this deck? Like, maybe there's a reason, but I personally would rather try to find another Death Rattle guy. And let's look at the big boys. Moarg Forge Fiend honestly is not bad, giving you more armor. I know we get a pretty good amount of armor with Earthen Scales, but I would say that Karen Bloodhoof's not a terrible idea. Mothership isn't terrible either. Those are just some options. And then if I look over at the Hearthstone, I would say the only other card that I'm looking at right now would be Bog Beast to probably hit. That would be okay. Not like the greatest, but it's an option at least. And another interesting note is they decided against putting Whittle Bloom Seedsman, instead to put in Vandar Stormpike. So it's an interesting option. I know Whittle Bloom Seedsman is definitely pretty solid. Another card you could also do instead is you could literally just play more into Topiary the Shrubagazer and put in cards like Natural Causes. So actually, let me throw this over here. So you could play, I started scrolling down like crazy. So you could play cards like Natural Causes, obviously Whittle Bloomsman, but that changes the deck quite a bit. So if you're trying to keep their initial idea, I would just say mainly swap out the Convoke the Spirits for something. Surge Nathria is also interesting. I know it really works well with Scale of Onyxia, but to me, I really like the idea of playing Surge Nathria with like a Brand Bronzebeard or whatnot, because you don't even have to play any crazy trickery with Kalthos. You could literally just play your Wild Heart Guff and get enough mana to do it. But I think it's okay. I honestly like the Demon Hunter one better. I don't like the way this one's built as much because the restriction Vandar Stormpike, but they clearly put that in for a reason. So they made it a point that this is going to be a heavy style, so that takes out a lot of other solid minions that are early game. So that's my thought on it. I don't think it's a bad deck, definitely, but I like Demon Hunter a little bit better. Wild Spirits, 10 new cards. Let's do this. We've got Click Clocker, that's interesting. So there must be a couple of mechs. Energy Trog. So looks to be relatively quick early game. Interesting. Number one, I hate this card. I really don't like Huntsman. Altamar, I don't think he's very playable. It's just too much of a game. Like, a 5/4 for 7 plus summoning 1 animal companion is not good. Summoning 2 animal companions is okay. 3 obviously is amazing. But the restriction of it has to be in your hand and whatnot just doesn't, I feel like, play very well. So they clearly are just trying to... There's literally one mech. I mean, I get it, because the idea is K9otron is going to pull a decent one-drop. But... Ooh, I don't know. Here's the thing. The only thing that's holding this deck kind of together is the Wild Spirits. The Wild Seeds, excuse me. I was looking at Wild Spirits down here. The Wild Seeds are very powerful, so them alone are going to kind of influence the deck pretty well to do decent. But I don't love this. I really don't like it a lot. Now, if it were me, I honestly don't have much of suggestion. I just would say don't pick this. Unless you're literally just starting and you're like, I want the Wild Seed stuff. And then you're going to, you're going to be getting enough packs and whatnot to hopefully craft what you want, because I don't think this is the way you go. I personally don't like this deck that much. I could be wrong, but that's probably the weakest deck so far, by far. Alright, next we have Volatile Magic. This is going to be obviously the Volatile Skeleton Mage, which I think is interesting. And let's see what they did. We've got, there's Flames, Suspicious Alchemist. Yep. Skeletons, Brand Bronzebeard. Okay, so they did go with my mentality, but here is the big negative I would say with this deck is you can't play unless you go second Brand Bronzebeard with Kel'Thuzad the Inevitable. It's not possible to do it. So let's actually create this quick. This is my suggestion on the deck here. I don't mind how they built it itself, but I would say personally, because they're definitely trying to take more advantage of the Frozen Touch than what I did when I was building my deck. I think you can play, you could fit in at least, because this is cheaper than Kel'Thas. You could fit in at least 2 of the Mailbox Dancers. So fitting in 2 of those, you're giving your opponent points as well, but you're giving yourself the option to have a little bit of an OTK with Brand's Bronzebeard. Now, you do have the option of playing School Teacher with Brand Bronzebeard, whatnot as well. But I personally would rather have that OTK option for the Mailbox Dancer. That's just the first thing off the top of my head. And if I were to cut something, it would probably be... Probably would be Amplified Snow Flurry. Just as an option. I mean, what I would do instead is I would go here and I would build this deck very centered around Frost cards. Just because you got cards like Frostweave Dungeoneer. It's a 3-mana 2/3 draw card. Plus summon 2 1/1 elementals. If you make sure that you don't have other cards, other spells, excuse me. So if you take out the Arcane Intellects, you take out the Rune Orb and whatnot. Not saying that you have to, but it's an option to go hard into like the Frost spells like Flurry, because that's a pretty solid card. You could do Cone of Cold, you could get the Ice Barrier, Blizzard, and then because you've done that, then you can run the Frozen guy, which is Flowcaster. Because you've got Varden Dawngrasp for this deck already, you have an option to play him for 4. You have a 3/3 plus 2 5/5s for free as well. It's just an option, not saying it's the best thing to do, but it's a decent swing if you're able to play Varden Dawngrasp plus Flowcaster together. So I would say, you know, look around it, but I think this is going to be a fun deck. Not saying it's going to be like the best one here, but I enjoy it. I think it's a cute little deck. Different than what I would build, but just an option for you guys. Next up, we have Paladin. Legendary Invitation. So this is going to be clearly all Paladin. Countess, like Snob. Honestly, there isn't much other way to build this. It's like these are your cards to build with, right? There's not a ton of options. And yeah, I mean, to me, this looks perfectly fine. I'm personally not a huge fan of the pure Paladin myself. Like, I think it's an option for sure, but I can't 100% tell you if this is like the best way to build it or not. So it's just not that interesting because you're just playing Paladin cards, and it's like, all right, well, you know, you're gonna change out maybe Battle Vicar or City Tax for like a Consecration. Like, it's like little things like that doing essentially the same effect or whatever. I think it's okay if you're feeling Paladin. A fine option. Go to Priest. Identity Thief. This should be interesting. So you're getting Clean the Scene, a Harvester of Envy, Identity Thief, Cathedral of Atonement, Mysterious Visitor, The Light It Burns, and Suspicious Usher. Here's my mentality on it, though. Where's the 4-mana guy, right? Where is that dude? Let me pull him up here. Where is Partner in Crime here? Right? So if we go here... Wow, that really messed up. Where's Partner in Crime? Partner in Crime's a great card, especially with Cathedral of Atonement. Like, that is, I feel like, a huge missed opportunity. That card should be in almost every single Priest deck. That's how good it is. So, because that's my, at least, mentality on it, so reduce the cards of cards you copied from your opponent. So it has to be copied from your opponent, so this does not get discounted. Let me look here. I do like the dragon stuff. I really do. I would say maybe remove Clean the Scene as a one of at least. I don't like Clean the Scene really at all, honestly. I think Xyrella is a good enough AoE. I would say remove Clean the Scene for the card that I literally can't remember its name right now. Partner in Crime. I would say that's at least the main thing, but it looks like a cute deck. I actually didn't think about playing a Dragon Priest in the package. I really haven't looked too much in Priest, at least like recently. So I forget about the cards that are in Priest, apparently. So I think that's solid, actually. I would say that looks like a decent one. I think the Mage one's decent also. You're getting a lot of value for those two. Druid, you're getting a lot of value as well. And Demon Hunter, you're not getting a ton of new cards, but it's definitely like a fun, cute deck. Rogue, we've got Sinstone Secrets. We've got 15 new cards in this one. Wow, a lot of new ones. So it's clearly a secret deck. Double Cross, Kidnap, Bone Spike, Sinstone Graveyard, Sticky Situation, Ghastly Gravedigger, Halkias, Necrolord Draka, Private Eye. So you're getting 4 legendaries. No, 5 legendaries. Wow. Is that how many you're getting from the other ones? Holy crap. Let me look at something here. 1, 2, 3. You're getting 3. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Oh, wow. You're getting 5. Wow. I didn't even pay attention to, like, the rarity of these. Curious. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, maybe they threw 5 in, give you the value. Alright, anyways, back to this. Sorry. I'm looking at... I know Mr. Smite is here because of the Jaran vessel. It makes sense, but I don't know. I mean, I like the idea better of going with just messing with your opponent, at least in this style of deck, right? So let's pull this back up over here. So instead of throwing Mr. Smite in, I wouldn't mind seeing Theotar, the Mad Duke, as like another way for you to mess with your opponent. I think that could be cute as well. And then... I also think that a cute play also is Counterfeit Blade, because you do have... you got a couple options. I mean, the crab here kind of messes with your idea, because the crab will give you a death rattle. If you were to swap out the crab, let's say, and throw in Counterfeit Blade, you would technically have an option for Palkias to be put into more secrets again, even if he died. At least it's an option to think about. Not saying it's a good one. It's a thought. See, I'm kind of surprised they aren't adding in, like, there's a couple secret guys down here. Like, Anonymous Informant, like, he's not in there. Sketchy Stranger's not in here. I would say those are pretty big misses. And they're commons, so those are stuff I'd look into for sure. I'd say, honestly, Fillet Fighter might be something you cut out for those instead. I get it that, you know, the cheap one-cost spell is good for the Sinstone Graveyard and the Necrolord Draka, but the way they have this built, it's not super cheap, so I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. I like that you're getting a lot of like the new cards, but I definitely think they missed a couple spots here. I'm not a fan of like how they built it. Moving on, we have Shaman, last three. Primordial Evolution, it's going to be Evolved Shaman, obviously. Convincing Disguise, Muck Pools, Maze Guide, Primordial Wave, Baroness Vash, and Accrued Caretaker. All are pretty good, solid choices to hit for your evolutions. And then we've got stuff like Ulnar Hammerbeak to hit other battle cries. So, Clownfish. Interesting. I mean, Clownfish is just solid because it hits Amalgam of the Deep. Schooling? Schooling. Interesting. Schooling. Anyways. I get it. It fills your hand up for a Goldshire Knoll. Alright. I see some of the ideas here. Fin Twin gives us two options to hit, but the problem is you're probably not buffing it up too much, if at all, to live. So it's not, you're just playing it as a 3-drop and then evolving it into a 4 or 5 cost card, like 2 5-cost cards. Accrued Caretaker, you evolve that guy singly. It's an okay deck. I'm not sure what I would change. I think there's some interesting choices of like... There's definitely some interesting choices. But I do see what they're doing. So what they're doing is they're playing Clownfish. So then you can play double Twin Fin Twin. And then play Convincing Disguise at some point to transform all friendlies. So then you could get like a bunch of 5-drops with this, with 2 of these guys down for free. And you could do that very early on, honestly. You could do that on turn 4 with ease, plus playing, so you can play double Twin Fin plus Baroness Vash. Oh no, you can't do that. Never mind. I'm getting way ahead of myself. On turn 5, you can do that, though. You can play Double Twin Fin, Baroness Vage, plus the Convincing Disguise. You get some real crazy stuff going. You know what? I'm a little more sold on it. I think it's interesting. I think they thought about this pretty well. You know, you got your Maze guides. Fireman's of Flurgle is a decent little Murloc guy you can also hit. Amalgam, Schooling. I like it. I think it's cute. You know, if you're looking for a Vault Shaman, that's definitely not bad. It's a interesting one. Infused with Power. I'm already going to tell you without even looking at this deck. This is probably the one you're going to want to craft if you want to be as, I guess, competitive as possible. Because I think this is probably going to be the best deck. So it's going to be an Imp deck. Tracker Staff, yep, that makes sense. Flame Imp, Voidwalker. We've got Flustered Librarian, Wicked Shipment. Okay. All of these make sense. Impending Catastrophe is one of the craziest cards. Bio Library, Huge Burst. Fiendish Circle for 5 mana. You could draw 4 cards and get 4 1/1 imps. And Gang Boss, Mischievous Imps is just absolutely insane. 4 mana, 6/6. No downside. Then a 4 mana 9/9. Shady Bartender, yep. Relish Tamsin gives you more imps with the rifts that you put in your deck. And Imp King Rafam. Yeah, this deck is nutty. I'm sure there's little tiny things you could tweak and whatnot, but this is just a solid deck. Like I said, if you're looking for a deck to craft right away and just instantly get some real competitive wins going, that's probably the one. Embrace the Pain. We've got Dragon Staff. Execute Sanguine Depths. Whirlwind, Animal Extractor. Armor Smith. I didn't realize this. Okay, I'm going to tell you real quick. When I did the review, I thought Animal Extractor only gave you a buff if it was the one that was damaged. I didn't realize it was the entire like friendly board. So the card's actually even better. It's basically just a +1/+1 hand buff Armor Smith, which is real interesting. Conditioning, Crazed Wretch. It's probably like a Crazed Wretch combo or something weird. Or Scamp, Acolyte, Pain Imbue Axe, Rokara. Blade Master Samuro, that's an interesting one. I honestly totally forgot about that card for being hand buff wise. Soulmaw Anchorman, Decimator Ulgra. I do like Decimator Ulgra. Mr. Smite. Yep, the Blade, Rokara, and Romash. Huh. Rokara? Rokara the hero? I mean, it gives you the weapon. And I'll deal 2 damage hero power. I wouldn't say that's like the best hero. Is there anything I could think of instead? That'd be interesting. Could try to fit in like Cruel Taskmaster for like the buffs. Obsidian Smith I do actually like. You got a pretty good amount of options to hit. Obsidian Smith wouldn't be a bad idea. You know, the Drudger card. And it's a pirate to hit for more of the Harbor Scamp. I know that's something I completely missed. I missed making a, like, I guess, more aggressive warrior. Like this. I went with Big Warrior for my deck that I created. So I don't mind it. I would just say, I don't know why, this to me is like not 100%. I'm not 100% sold on it. It does give you 10 armor though. So 7 mana, 10 armor, equipped to 5/2 weapon plus doing the damage. Yeah, it fits in there. Forget what I'm saying. I didn't realize it gave 10 armor. I would probably say what you're trying to do though is possibly go a little bit more aggressive. That's my only thought. So, does Mr. Smite fit though? It's definitely not bad. Obviously he's good, he got nerfed. I don't know. I would say some cards to look at possibly replacing would be Mr. Smite. He could be something you replace. And like I said, I'm thinking maybe for Obsidian Smith, but maybe you keep Mr. Smite because the Obsidian Smith is a pirate also. And then... Huh. Boy, the more I'm looking at this is a pretty good list, actually. I don't know why. I'm, like, very sold on Obsidian Smith, though. I feel like this fits very well into this deck. I'd say that's something to mess around with. Look into Obsidian Smith, and that's my main take. Anyways, honestly, I think all the decks are pretty solid. I think there's a few questionable ones, but I really liked. I think you get a lot of bang for your buck with Rogue because of how many new cards you're getting. That's at least, if you're looking for bang for your buck. If you're looking for most competitive, I'd probably say Warlock. I think Warrior's actually interesting there. And I think Mage could be a pretty fun one. Honestly, Demon Hunter or Druid are also good. Hunter is a big one I would stay away from, though. I would say any class that you pick for the most part is going to be solid. I think Hunter is probably the weakest one, though. So, anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy. Catch you in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe. Take care.